slight delay. We are good to go, and the match is going to start up. Here we go. I want to mention Food because he has been such an interesting part of this lineup, literally doing everything that is necessary for this team. And already out of the gate, we're just getting a big scuffle over here at P Long with a bunch of frags being exchanged out of that one. Defense, though, are going to be a little tattered out of that, but they'll be okay. They will still have that numbers advantage. Magician's just going to look to see if he can work his way onto the A site.
Certainly, pistol rounds very important. For Homeless, they have a 65% win rate on pistol rounds coming into this tournament. And if they can kind of improve on that, if they can continue to have their success, I mean, that's kind of 4 rounds that you can find yourself just in one game if you can have that pistol success. But T1 have an even better pistol success rate, which is the scary factor. 81% of pistol rounds they've won in this tournament, only dropping 3 pistol rounds. And of those 3 pistol rounds, they went on to win the kind of anti-eco round that follows. So they are a scary force in these early stages.
T1's just scary in general. And I know that the conversation for T1 has been like, well, they're so good, why haven't we seen them play in every North American tournament? And honestly, I wish I can answer that question for you, but it does look good right now. Som's trying to answer the question himself of how he's actually going to get onto the site and successfully win this round now, but his Food in the backfield has his teammates back. And even though it was getting a little dicey there, it will be T1 that walks away with it. And now I feel like I get to talk about Food because in case you guys don't know, Food plays the Brim, the Jet, and the Phoenix for this team, which has been interesting to say the least. Just different roles altogether. And he's been playing them very well.
A jack of all trades. Like, you put him on anything and he's going to be comfortable, and he's going to be a player that kind of injects that element of power into the team. Like, you can rely on him no matter what he's playing. So that's why Food has just been a staple in this side. And I guess the bad news here when we talk about statistics is we haven't seen Homeless win a round 2 after losing the pistol yet in this tournament. But we'll see whether they can change that and kind of ruin that statistic for me.
Okay, well, Def is going to try and get on site, but AZK is going to stuff him down there with the SMG, so handle that business with the Spectre. A few more are going to be located here right by B Long, which AZK gets the information that at least one is going to be located there. And also this angle is going to be quite scary. Kills away at the wrong time, and it's going to be Superman that gets the better of him with a classic. Scalo will still have some support in the backfield. And they're just, looks like they're going to just bolt on over to the TP side. They're poised with the kill. Just going to try and keep this drive alive for this team. They're going to get onto site, and they're looking pretty solid here, Gaskin. This is, you said that they haven't really been able to win that second round, but so far things are looking pretty decent here for the attackers.
Yeah, this is where they take that statistic and they shove it and rub it in my face, and I'm perfectly okay with that because this is the round they need to win if they're really going to take T1 to a game here. They need to kind of get T1 out of their groove, make sure they're not confident, don't allow them to play their way. Instead, take the game to them, try and take them out of that comfort zone, and then they might find a little bit of success.
If it makes you feel any better, I predicted Gen G to lose the tournament one time because they lost the map by like, I think it was like 16% or something. The numbers don't really matter, and it seems like the numbers aren't going to matter here either, Gaskin, because the numbers were right. While all that was going on, Scon Company, and it's Food once again who has been playing spoiler to this Homeless team.
But now this is where we get to see Homeless really demonstrate what they have to offer on this attacking side on Bind. I mean, I'm expecting Def to kind of lurk around a little bit rather than being with the team. At the moment, it looks like they're going to be kind of looking towards an A split. When we saw them play against Built by Gamers, round 3, they went for an A split. They sent 3 to Showers and 2 went to Short instead. It looks like they're going for a little bit of a default setup here just to see if they can catch anyone off guard early on, and then they'll look to maybe push towards one of these sites a little bit more heavily.
Smoke's down.
All right, so Food's going to place down another smoke. Try and keep this going here. Orb will be picked up. Action has slowed down. Brax is going to take firm control here of B Short. So you try and walk your way through Market. You're going to get met by a Spectre there. I believe that was a Spectre. All these skins are changing now. Feel like I'm going crazy. Just as we say that, Poise end up picking up 2 picks from that one, Gaskin. Looking good so far.
Yeah, looking good, but maybe Crashy's going to do some work here. He's just going to go into his own cyber cage. He will manage to get straight on. No, he doesn't. Superman will respond perfectly there. I mean, he was caught off guard. He was just able to turn, and I guess that's the difference between having a Phantom and having a Bulldog.
Oh, exactly. The damage output's going to be different. Ska's going to have this angle here. Waits for 1, waits for 2, gets 2! Wow, great play from Ska as he looks to locate the 3rd, but Lasky's there to stop him right in his tracks. They will get that spike back up. And that looked like it could have gone real poorly there for Homeless. They managed to keep this one going. They will get that spike down on B, leaving just Food in a 1v3. Will get scouted out here by the Owl drone. And you're asking for something quite Herculean here from Food, but you know, he has been playing on fire for this T1 team. It's not impossible. I think he's waiting if anyone's going to try and challenge around the corner. He's good now. Doing his due diligence as well, checking all his corners. Knows that typically one's going to be inside a hookah. He knew it, but Poise just had his number and was able to take him out. That is going to give him that 3rd round win that they needed, right? A little bit of a mix-up now going into round 4. It's going to affect the economy just a bit here for T1. They're just going to have to figure out what they want to do now on this defense, because as its current pace, Gaskin, Homeless is now on track to tie this one up.
And it is really interesting to see how different Homeless are approaching this game compared to what we saw them play against Built by Gamers yesterday on Bind. They were very much focusing on these executes, these fast pushes, getting onto site, but here they seem to be going for more of a default play and just saying, maybe we respect T1 too much, and we think they're going to be pushing up. Maybe T1 don't respect us at this point, so they're going to be pushing out, they're going to be getting aggressive. It makes sense on this round in particular because, of course, there's no money, there's no economy on the side of T1, and it does mean it is going to be an easy little waltz onto a site. It's just going to be the one player. It's going to be Food in showers, and maybe he can catch a player off guard here and do a little bit of damage.
If he gets this kill, it actually could be pretty big, and he is going to get the kill, so that means he gets the weapon as well as his orbital strike is now going to come online. They can use that for some stall or to retake this site if they really want to, but it's going to be real challenging for them to do it. Sky uses Hunter's Fury. Threw some shots out, didn't really connect with anything, but did slow down that plan. Ultimately, they are able to get this one down. Now the team's going to look to group up here as they make their way through the attacker side. And Psalm is going to get caught in the corner. Brax is going to be there for the connection. Superman, though, with 2. And even though Food, he did manage to get out that orbital strike, he didn't get any kills with it, leaving just 1 player left alive. And that just everything he did there, that round, giving them the site, retaking it along with the orbital strike, he was able to do the job that he needed to do, and thus they get the thrifty round win.
I'm just wondering what you're looking at when you're walking into showers there. He wasn't checking it. Like, was he just checking the close left angle just a little bit too aggressively? I mean, great instinct there from Food to just push up a little bit to ensure it wasn't going to be a comfortable entrance into the showers. Oh, but that is a gifted round from Homeless, and T1 now are going to be in such a commanding position, whereas Homeless, their money is not great. It does look like they are going to be forcing up, though. Just trying to make the most of a bad situation here. There's a couple of sheriffs to go around these assault rifles.
Revealing area.
Just goes to show you, Dan, how every interaction, right, has such a ripple effect. That 1 kill for Food gave them orbital strike, gave them a means to be able to push in. You use that one in that round because if you get value, like inherent value out of it, right, could be tangible or intangible, you know. In this instance, it was just the idea of pushing them all back. We were able to benefit from that one greatly. Oh, Scotch has got the top of the hat of Cypher. There goes the orbital strike. Lasky, though, is going to get the better of him with a blast pack. Brax, though, there to meet Lasky on his descent down. Finds 1 player in the corner, but Poise somehow, some way manages to win out that fight against Brax. In the backfield, though, going to be a few kills going to the favors of Homeless, and that is going to be a 2nd round win here and a commanding one, taking that B site.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday as well. Lasky just kind of having that fearless attitude of I'm not scared to push out of Hookah, and utilizing those blast packs effectively, not only to project himself onto the site, but also to do a little bit of damage. And the rest of the team aren't scared to follow him. I think it's more than a good situation to have an entry fragger like that, as long as you've got the support to follow up. And the kind of split push from Hookah and from Long just maybe caught T1 off guard there. And that is another round that you could argue Homeless shouldn't have won, considering the fact they had 2 sheriffs to work with, but the res came through. Their economy is good now, and well, this is looking like it's going to go back and forth. I mean, I'm surprised they were able to get onto B site that successfully, but impressed at the same time.
You could see that attention being put down, and actually a full rotate over to the A site here, leaving B completely open.
Cage triggered.
The one cyber cage goes down. That's going to disappear in a heartbeat. But this is a quite peculiar situation here, as they've made their way all the way over to A site. Both teams effectively have taken ownership of opposite ends here on Bind. Superman will get the spike down.
Spike planted.
And you know, I think they're rotating because they probably watched those games yesterday as well from Homeless. And Homeless, they went out of 8 of their 12 attacking rounds, they went towards A site. They very rarely went towards B. And I think T1 were just kind of gambling on that and saying, well, what do we think they're going to do here after that B execute? They're probably going to go back to A. They weren't able to do anything with it. It means now they just have to wait, and they're going to do what they can with this gamble and just save the ghosts that they've been able to purchase. But, I mean, it was a risk, and they weren't rewarded for it.
Yeah, they all grouped up at the same time. They will get some encounters here and some exit frags. Potentially, but it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be running into the spawn there anytime soon. But that will be a clean round. And, you know, I mean, hey, that was their game plan. They felt like they were going to go A. They made the gamble. The gamble didn't pay off. And Homeless is able to just take ownership of B side. Boom, there you go. You're at 3-3 now in the count here. Everyone's able to buy up. You also gave them no kills, too. So you gave them no extra money for any kills that would go through. You also gave them no extra ults. That was just a weird round.
Eyes on target.
Look at this lineup as well from Sam. He's worked on that one. Practicing something with a shock dart. Let's see where this one heads. I mean, that is a ridiculous shock dart, might I add. As Lasky's going to get the opening frag onto Food. Poise will also follow up with a second, and it was just trying to connect with anyone that was outside of showers, and it's worked perfectly. They pushed onto the A site here, and they've got control of it, and Spike is going to go down, GB.
That is a wild lineup. Even though it didn't lead to anything, just the fact that this team has been able to put that kind of strategy together. Def is going to have an angle here, but does not get a kill. AZK will get a headshot on the Def. You got Scott watching the backfield as they try and move on out.
I think
might run into, yeah, I think they're good. I mean, this is going to be another round win for Homeless, and that just means that they're going to be able to get this round, this lead that I genuinely didn't expect to see. Homeless has given us some new material, Dan.
Yeah, Homeless are showing us what they've been practicing on Bind, and when you consider the fact that they are a newly formed team as well, the stuff that they are providing,
impressive.
Is excellent. It is very impressive, and I'm so glad to see more teams putting the time in, more teams getting into like the practice situation of how can we execute successfully onto sites. And I was impressed by them yesterday with how they were moving onto A site, but today they're offering even more. I didn't get to see everyone's point of view yesterday, of course, because it was only one player streaming it. But now seeing what Sam has to offer with his lineups as well, I know he's a cheeky Viper player at times, but him on Sova, that is a scary, scary factor. Because when you've got a player who puts the time in, gets those lineups with whether it's shock darts or recon bolts, either or, they can be so detrimental to a team's defensive ability. So this is exciting. This is going to be a really good game.
Yeah, low drone there for Ska. Maybe you can get some identification for any of these players that may be trying to split things up. I don't think he got much. Saw maybe 1 or 2 down long, but that was about it. And you mentioned Psalm, and I know that people are gonna say lol Fortnite, but it is no small thing. The man came second place at the Fortnite World Cup. That is not an easy thing. He was one of the more consistent players in that game, which is impressive. Unfortunately, also another consistent champion in his own right is Skadoodle, who stuffs down the Def and his poor Cypher. Rack's just going to play this one out. Now he's going to get aggro here right by B short. Does identify one player. Superman is going to get caught off guard, and the spike is now going to be down, prompting this rotation to come through. Psalm waiting this one out. He's gonna have to back away, but gets burned by the molly. Oh man, Lasky though, still gonna be on site. Here comes the showstopper. Is it gonna be the bane of all these players' existence? No, instead it is Crashies who waited that one out. He gets a headshot, ends the round there, but oh, Brax, I love that molly there, just roasting Psalm.
Again, I'm slightly surprised to see Homeless heading towards B site this often. They had very little success against Built by Gamers yesterday when they went towards B site. The only times they found success was against an eco from the other team or when they were an eco and they just kind of rushed instantly onto the site. T1 though, they're responding by saying, okay, we respect the fact you've been practicing your executes. What happens if we throw a spanner in the works? What happens if we push you and get aggressive and use our ultimates? Like, Phoenix using his ultimate there just meant that they weren't able to push up into hookah, and then the op, of course, just stopped anything. And here's the aggression yet again, as Skadoodle once again taking down Def, and Def's not having a good time lurking on that B site.
Indeed, he is not, my friend. It has been a struggle, without a doubt. We'll get called out. Crashies didn't locate what he was looking for, and then Lasky's gonna keep on pushing on through there in the showers. He's been hit or miss this game, but it's been working out more times than not. Lasky maintaining control of the shower area. You're gonna have these three players, apologies, making their way through the attacker side or the defender side. I'm all over the place right now. I'm so sorry, chat. Everyone's just lolling at me. They're all laughing at me, Dan. Can you believe
Is it going senile in your old age yet again, GB? And it's okay.
True. It's very true.
We forgive you. That's your one. That's your one. You'll be perfect for the rest of the cast now.
I have to be, obviously. You know, this community expects nothing less than perfection.
But again, it was the Sova lineup and the recon bolt that allowed them to so successfully push onto the site, and now Lasky's just clearing things up onto Brask, and Brax is going to be another kind of save here for T1. They're backing off, they're getting away, but Boys wants a little bit of this action. AZK denies it. But yet again, another perfect execute onto A site. They even lost Def in the early stages of that round, but because Def got so much info, saw there was 3 on the B site, suddenly the recon bolt comes out, gets all that information onto A. They knew there was a player hiding in the cubby next to showers, then they just pushed out. They got aggressive. 5-4.
Now, they held their own there, right? It looked like everything could have just gone wrong. The moment you lose that first player, the first blood going for the side of T1, most teams would crumble against a roster of this strength, but not this squad. This Homeless team is playing this team very close. They're playing T1 close. This is what I did not expect to see, if I'm being honest with you, though. Crashies, he had to witness AZK just get bodied there, but Crashies is going to be playing the cubby. Does manage to get one. Ooh, no, will not be able to stay alive. Played the cyber cage and was kind of caught with his hand not on the gun quite there. Thought he would have actually gotten the tag on that player.
Yeah, he got the first one.
So, yeah.
Wasn't able to follow up and do the damage, but still 2 players remaining. Skadoodle did get a little bit of information there, and maybe they know there is going to be a rotation towards B. The Def is desperately trying to get out of hookah here, but he is being careful. Knows that it is an easy peek from that defender's spawn. 2 versus 3, but Brimstone is low. Food is just going to be waiting over on that A site. And they've got time to work with here, GB.
Ooh, I don't think Brax saw. Def poked out the worst time there, and this actually could... This slow play could get into the minds of T1, but I think that they're just going to rest this one and wait it out. They have angles everywhere. They're very confident that they will be able to locate this. They have that numbers advantage. Oh, and Psalm just squeaked right by. So yeah. Psalm did a whole sweep around, and Food didn't see him, but he's going to see him here because he has no other choice, and he's going to meet him right at the front door, and he stuffs him at a short, and that is going to end this round here for Homeless. That was just all manners of peculiar there. The Psalm combing the site, telling his teammate, hey, you're good, no one's here, but homie was still going to be inside of heaven, so they really didn't have anything to counter that.
Yeah, I'm sure Psalm wanted to push into heaven and wanted to check that one, but he probably felt it was too much of a risk because there could have been someone in the defending spawn. But again, that round started off with T1 being aggressive down A short. and just taking the game to Homeless, saying we're not going to allow those quick executes from you, those successful executes that have been getting you onto the site. Instead, we're going to go for those early picks. We're going to try and eliminate some of that utility that you have to get onto the site. And it meant that Homeless just really struggled from that point. And I really like the aggression we're seeing from T1.
Skadoodle's Owl Drone's going to give him a ton of information regarding where they're going to be on short. Ska's going to wait this one out, does manage to get one. It's Psalm who falls victim to that shot there. Poise will bring his teammate back. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. Does tag one, but just as that happens, Def is there to help his teammates out. Now Def, he's going to just go on through. He went through the cyber cage, saw Brax, but apparently just did not have an angle to be able to take him out. AZK watching the corner. And a safe wall will bring back Scout, bring back that offer, and then give them a little bit of an advantage here as this team is going to opt to make their way over toward B long.
Yeah, it's a heavy stack towards B, but everyone else on T1 are also at this B site, except, of course, the Cypher just on a little lurky lurk. So even if they do TP here over towards the A site,
which is possible.
It is possible. We did see it once yesterday against Built by Gamers, and they did win that round, actually, but not much time to work with now. Only 30 seconds entering the site, and they walk straight into Brax and Skadoodle, who just make it short work. Just one player remaining now. It is going to be Supermen. Does at least get another one, and suddenly makes it a 1 versus 2, but Food finishes things off with the op in a little bit of brim-on-brim action. 6-5 now, Goldenboy, and yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty happy if I was on the side of Homeless and I've taken 5 rounds against T1, and they could make it 6 here as well.
Yeah, realistically. Last round before the half, we'll see what they're able to do. But this has been a strong showing for Homeless thus far. If you're a fan of either of these players, you're very happy about how they've performed. I think they silenced a lot of doubters in group stages when everyone just kind of handed it over. They were our one, I guess, surprise. Even though the talent on this roster has competed in numerous events, has found various degrees of success throughout Valorant's short competitive history. So this has been a good half against what many consider to be one of the best teams in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Homeless are the reason 100 Thieves aren't in this tournament, and I think a lot of fans will be aggrieved. They'll be angry that there's no 100 Thieves left in the tournament. We would have had a T1 versus 100 Thieves action, but didn't work out because Homeless said no, and here's the aggression yet again. Brax taking down Psalm, and they instantly have that player advantage and all the information from the neural theft.
That changes dramatically if Psalm saw both players crouching on the box right by the window. It really does, but they're still going to be able to get the spike down, so things are at the very least looking just a tad bit better for Homeless. They simply need to be able to find these frags, and just as I say that, though, Brax is going to be the one to find it instead. All these ults are going to be used. Lasky's going to be in the backfield here. He goes, pops the showstopper, and his teammate's there to pick up another one, but Brax, he got himself 3. It's now going to be a 1v2. Can Brax clutch this one out? Both players are going to be playing around lamps. Brax making a whole heap load of noise as he's going to just push his way forward here. Does locate one. Can't even get the ace. Can he get the ace? As Brax, he's playing this one smartly. He's waiting to see if this is going to be a push from Poise, but Poise has a time, and Poise clutches it up, making it 6-6 in the end for this Homeless team at the half. But boy, oh boy, Brax was popping off in that last round.
Homeless are so good at getting onto A site as well. I just love the way they utilize Brimstone smokes and how they just clear all the vision on that A site. They smoke off window, of course, stop anyone being up from heaven. And then they just smoke off between truck and default. Very often you'll see people go for that kind of normal default setup where you put 2 smokes between truck and brown boxes, and then they push onto the site, and you've got that risk of, oh, you're going to be sprayed through the smoke. Do you have a sage wall? They say, screw all that nonsense. We're just going to go for some controlling smokes. We're going to be completely trusting in our ability to outgun our opponent. They push lamps, they clear the one player out of lamps, they push showers, they clear the player out of showers, and then they have the site. And they did that with just 4 players rather than the full 5 stack. They had a great attacking half, but now we'll get to see what T1 have to offer in their attacking side.
Let's see if this was a matter of T1 just having a weak defense and maybe a great offense, but it's already not going to start off all that wonderful. Braxo does locate one. There is going to be 2 players there playing for each other, playing for the cross. And Lasky actually gets a little aggro, pushes out, but the ghost from Brax is true and lands a headshot. The wall placed down on lamps, thus preventing them from being able to get in front of them or take some presence behind. Now they're going to have to deal with Def here at Heaven. 47 HP though. Shock arrow lands right on its target. Def does get information. One's going to be located by the cubby. He's keeping his crosshair there. Does dink him. And finally, they will get the kill, leaving just only a few players left alive here to try and hold this one down. It's AZK. AZK with 2, and then Brax was there to have his buddies back. And it will be T1 that get the pistol round yet again.
Yeah, unfortunately for Homeless, they were all so weak pushing onto that site. They've just been tagged up and dinked left, right, and center, which meant it was just a comfortable post plant realistically for T1. But yeah, T1 continue that success rate of being able to win pistol rounds, which doesn't really surprise me. Like, they were 13-3 before this. Now they're 15-3 in pistol rounds won this tournament, which is so helpful in setting you up and just kind of putting you on that pedestal for success, because you've just got confidence going into that second round now. And on the other side, I guess I have to bring up that stat again that for Homeless, they've not been able to find a round 2 victory yet this tournament after losing a pistol.
We'll see if luck can be the factor here. Perhaps, but it ain't gonna really look like that. Brax gets 2 kills there. There's Defto with a shorty. Okay, I peep. You got the Ronin skin. The Ronin, you hear me? The Oni skin on that. Shout out to the Ronin skin Bulldog, though. And now T1 do get onto this site. It was looking good there for a moment. They're going to be okay. There's only 1 player's left inside of Hookah. It was Lasky. He made short work of him.
Brax already has an ultimate going into the 3rd round of the second half. I mean, he is popping off this game. He's been absolutely insane. Like, the amount of 4Ks, 3Ks we've seen from him. When you've got a player that can step up like that as a Phoenix, it's terrifying, because Run It Back is such a powerful ult for being able to push onto sites and also for defending sites too. I wonder whether they're going to try and use it here with their kind of iffy buy that they've got in the 3rd round, or whether they'll just opt to save it. But with how Brax has been playing, we could see 3, maybe even 4 Run It Backs if he carries on, just kind of destroying Homeless here by himself.
Brax has always been a force. And when he announced that he was going to be competing here in Valorant, we knew that he was going to bring a lot of heat. These players expected it, and it's the reason why I think it's just a little apropos that he's also playing Phoenix with how on fire he's been this game. An attempt now to slow things down and prevent them from being able to take ownership of Hookah. But things are going to slow down here, and T1 now, they've gotten a decent amount, I would say, out of Homeless. So they'll just drop and regroup, center their strategy now around the A site. 3 players are going to be meeting them there. And they are going to get that information ahead of time. Let's see what Psalm does. Psalm's going to be playing the corner on Cubby by A Lamps. Lasky waiting this one out, has a grenade to deal with, doesn't have anything else, but he's actually going to pop the nade, which is going to slow things down, or at least you would think it would. It does. It gets 1 kill on Food, a big kill, as a matter of fact. Brax will be sent right back. And the spike is not going to be down in front of the site here. Brax, you know, if there's a man who can make the play happen, it certainly would be him. He has 20 seconds remaining. And no one's going to be having eyes directly on it, but that slow orb is going to prevent them from being able to get that spike and place it. And finally, Homeless will be able to get themselves another round win, keeping this one incredibly close, Gaskin.
Yeah, if that was going to be a victory for T1 and they picked up that round, I would have been worried that maybe this could have been a landslide half, and we would have been like, okay, well, Homeless had a good attacking half, but maybe defensively they're not going to be so strong. But they've been able to hold up in the round they should have held up. Now this is going to be the real test for them as we move on to these next couple of rounds, as to whether they can stop a full force T1 when T1 fully buy. But of course, the money's not great on the side of T1. Like, they've got, what, a Sheriff, a couple of Ghosts, and just the 1 Phantom to work with at the moment. So this is another round that should go in favor of Homeless. But they have dropped a couple of iffy rounds, or yesterday dropped a couple of iffy rounds when their opposition were kind of half buying or ecoing, just because of a couple of little mistakes, like getting a little bit too aggressive here or there, or not watching the right angles. I'm hoping they would have learned from those mistakes, because certainly from what we've seen on their attacking half, they look well drilled. and they need to do the same defensively.
Revealing area.
Well, here we go. Now the push is going to come in here. All these players are going to try and charge on through, but it is basically a slaughter. Superman gets 3 kills. Superman with 4 kills. Certainly super that round, tying things up. It was a pistol round. They were saving up what they could. They were just trying to see if they can get very aggressive, get in their face, get a few kills, get that spike down, right? Just anything that they can pull out of that round. It was highly unlikely that they would have been able to win given what they had on their kits. And now we're going to be knotted up here 8-8, and I have loved watching this game unfold. We're learning a lot about this Homeless team and what they're capable of. And think about if they're able to win here, Gaskin, how big that will be. Like, this is a team of players not signed to an organization in times where all these orgs are now starting to make their way into Valorant, especially in the North American scene. What better way to go than to pick up an entire roster that is showing that they are a force against T1.
Some of these recon bolts as well are incredible. But you're right. I mean, we see so often teams go for like Orgless as their name, right? Homeless is a little bit of a nicer twist. It almost makes you feel a bit sorry for them. Like, they don't have a home. Let's see a team pick them up. But I think they have the potential here to be really quite a commanding force in the North American scene, as they are going to push onto site now. Lasky gets a 2-for-1. Absolutely huge, but Brax is there to shut him down. But they've already been able to work their way onto this site as the rest of the team now rotate from defender spawn.
You gotta stop that boy before he starts to pop off. It'll be scary for everyone else. And they managed to end that reign of terror. All right, now, how do they work to make this one? They got just some. Another one of those recon darts gets him everything he needs. Some. He's looking down the barrel of the Hunter's Fury from Skadoodle. He has no fear, and he gets the kills. And Homeless managed to get onto site, successfully giving themselves the lead once again.
Something that T1 have to be careful with now on their kind of eco-attacking rounds is who they feed kills to. In the previous round, they gave 4K to Superman, who was then given his Brimstone ultimate, right? And we know how powerful Orbital Strike was. It was even nerfed to 7 orbs rather than the 6. So you need to be thinking now, where do we push? And where is like the damage control in terms of the site we go? Who do we not want to give these orb points to? Because we can see 3 ults are already ready. Do we really want to go to B site and give Superman more kills and get him closer to that orbital strike yet again? I'd say no, and I'd rather see them go towards A.
So Lasky's going to be solo holding on A for right now. He will have his teammate to join him in a moment. Ska's doing the poke around the corner to see if there was going to be a shot that would be exchanged, but they got nothing for that one. They're going to march their way right on through the shower. Got 3 players stacked in there. Lasky is going to get called out, and the location was revealed, so he needed to be a little careful, though, even through the smoke. And there goes Def. Def was waiting on the corner for the kill. Skadoodle manages to hold it down. Psalm, though. Psalm with 1 kill on AZK and some damage done onto the Sage. Actually, I think that was onto the Brim, as a matter of fact. Either way, they do get the Sage down. And they're just tucked away inside of here. There goes the showstopper.
No.
Oh, Sky gets 2. Sky with the ace. Oh, my goodness. He just had no chance to be able to win. No business winning that one out the way that he did. And he gets it. Oh, my word.
And he was rewarded for the aggressive angle in Lamps as well. The showstopper got fired deep into Lamps, and he almost just matrixed past it, dropped the shoulder, and then suddenly pops out of Lamps. And damn, he is Neo. He is the one, I think, because that is an ace that definitely shakes things up in this game. I mean, Homeless were probably feeling quite comfortable and probably at home on Bind. But now T1 have said, actually, let's get them out of that comfort zone a little bit. And that ace is huge for T1's chances of winning this game.
Let's see if that will be the case, though, right? I mean, anything can happen here in Valorant. But also, how is Homeless just going to regroup after this? Now, Brax, he's going to find Def here in a moment. Def's going to poke for this, and Def wins the battle. Def wins the battle and does manage to get off his ult. Crashies, though, does win that exchange, and in turn, will use his. He's got all that info.
Oh, and the res. Oh, and the snipe. Everything's there for T1 at the moment. It means they're going to burst onto this site. They've got Run It Back to work with. They should easily take a site here, and the retake is going to be very difficult with just 3 members. As Brax, he's going a hunting. Doesn't have much Run It Back left, though. he'll be sent back. But they've got the spike down. And the big question is, do you go for this retake? Looks like the answer is a very firm no.
Yeah, Lasky and Def are financially not looking great. I mean, same thing for Superman. It's just certainly not going to be worth it. So this will be a round win now for T1. They've managed to bring this one back after an incredible jaw-dropping ace there from Ska. And they'll follow that one up with another round win. So Gaskin, T1, they are heating up at the moment where they needed to, man, because it was getting down to the wire. And this homeless team, they're hungry. They're hungry for an opportunity. And if you give it to them, they're going to take it. So they have to end this right in its tracks.
We would expect this though, right? Like T1 should be able to excel in pressure situations when they are like having to clutch up and where they are presented with those opportunities for like 4Ks or aces when one person is able to pick up a phantom on a pistol round, on an eco round. For Homeless, I think that would have hurt their confidence a lot losing that round. And that's when you start to kind of the internal arguments as well. How did we lose that round? Who was covering this angle? Obviously, we can't hear those comms, but we know it happens. We know it's so easy to blame other players in this game. But realistically, when you look at the start of that round from Def, he got that first pick. Was he too greedy going for the neural theft? It completely made sense, but he was punished because of it. And it's always one of those things in hindsight, he might look back, maybe I should have just waited and backed off after I got the pick. But now they just need to focus on this next round and try and slow down this kind of attacking force we're seeing from T1.
If you remember, though, he got the neural theft off and then went back in for a second poke.
Yeah.
So they got exactly what they wanted, and they would have identified that two players were in showers. So thus, there was no reason for him to go in there and try and get more out of this. Like, he already did the job, right?
Oh.
While this is going on, though, Ska's doing his job, lands a Hunter Fury onto Poise. Some players are going to be tagged, though. Som's going to be holding down the back, and that is frustrating to be dealing with that level of pressure. Som does see a player get really close to him there. Backs away right at the nick of time, and AZK, he was also going to be pulled away from the attention, but Superman with two, and the defenders keep this thing going. Homeless, they managed to hold on here, tying this one up 10-10. We are in one heck of a match. This is a slobber knocker.
I love this team. Also love that you used slobber knocker straight away. I knew it was coming at some point.
I wasn't gonna wait.
It has to, you just have to kind of sometimes just inject it when it feels right, GB, and it felt right here because we're at 10-10. Superman is popping off. Sam's holding sights well as well. There is no reason why Homeless can't win this game now. We're deep enough into this half where we've seen what T1 have to offer. We see how Homeless are defending. They can win this game, which would be incredible for not only their ability in this tournament, but their future in this scene.
No one's close to an old quite yet. Lasky playing an aggressive angle and showers. That's smart. Get the pick back up. You have the advantage because if you lose a player, your Sage will be able to bring you right back in. Poise is there. Slow down in Hookah too. They have no choice but to shoot that one down. Def is going to be playing this angle here along with Poise. They're waiting for the footsteps. If they drop down, have no choice but to commit to that sound cue that will typically happen when you make your way out of window. That is not going to be what T1 opts to do then. Instead, they're actually just going to be marching their way through the market. And if I'm correct, did get that indication that through the owl drone that one was going through the market. So perhaps it will give them the intel that they need.
Maybe. In the utility and the smokes are going to come out now for T1, and it is going to be an A site take here, or at least they're going to attempt that, but Lasky is going to get aggressive out of heaven, and here's the Superman as well. Him and Sam have done so well holding sight. Skadoodle's doing a little bit of work with the op, tries to go for a wallbang, but he's going to have to back off and probably going to save at this point. And it's going to be yet another round going in favor of Homeless, where their holds have just been too strong because they've been fearless. They've been pushing through smokes, they've been watching their angles correctly, and their crossfire has been incredible. The teamwork is on point now for Homeless.
I think that Sam's owl drones and his recon darts have just been amazing. Simply amazing. That round, think about how Sam really just put the pressure on T1 just by identifying that I believe it was going to be the rival Sova, that Ska was in market and was looking over toward the opposite side. So he was making his way toward A. And that intel, that information will be like, okay, well, I looked through B short. I didn't find anyone, but I did see one guy at market making their way over toward the other site. That just gives you, so much confidence to know, like, I can play this one out. And then Lasky has been great with this op the entire time. And that is a wall you really don't want to see.
No, it's not the best wall, but you're right. I mean, there were so many layers to that defense and like how Sam was able to utilize all of his ability. I mean, it felt like Inception with the amount of layers there were. It was like a dream within a dream within a dream. And now the money was iffy on the side of T1. I saw an SMG for Brax. I saw just half armor on another player. They need to win this round. If they don't, they might lose this game. We might be heading into Ascent with Homeless leading.
All right, so now here comes the commitment. They're going to try and send this one out. Few players are down. There goes the flash now. They're going to get onto site here, but Sam and Superman are going to be there for the connection again. Boy's waiting around the side. He's waiting for Food to just poke this, but instead it's Superman who gets another kill over by the garden, though. It's Sam locates Crashy's last player left alive. It's Skadoodle. You have the op, my friend. You have to make a play, but it's 1v4. 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, man.
That's it. They really just have no options.
He wants to do a little bit of damage to the economy whilst he gets out. I understand why they bought up in that round. They bought up around the op because it isn't guaranteed Skadoodle is going to be able to get an op in another round. Okay, yes, he might be able to keep it here, but I think they're going to go hunting. They're going to want to take this op off him because it's going to be such a comfortable round if they can kill Skadoodle here. He needs to go clutch. He's got 5 seconds to try and do stuff. He does spot one player, but he lets him go. The trigger discipline is excellent and might just keep him alive.
No way. Oh, dude, that's so BM. That's so messed up. But I respect it, though. But I really do.
So clever, though. He had to do that. He had to survive to give his team any sort of chance here because he is a money bank. He's got an op and he's got 7.5k. The rest of the team, they are just like orphans at this point saying, please, sir, can I have some more? Give me anything to work with in this potential final round before we could see Homeless take down T1 in the first map of this quarterfinal.
This is it. Match point for Homeless. They can go up 1-0 against T1. I can't believe that's the sentence I said out loud. Sam has Hunter's Fury now. Because he obtained that orb, they now have Hunter's Fury to stop a push on B. And he has been so surgical with the placement of that Hunter's Fury. He didn't get... Did he see anything on long? I don't know if he did. No, it seems like he did not locate anything there. He's still going to be playing this one out as if it could be a slow push on Hookah.
And it's scary. You have to trust. You have to trust the Sova, but he's going to get 2. Manages to get another tag. Can he connect with anyone again? No, he can't. He's done his job. He's got the info here, GB.
Indeed he did, and Poise is going to get the kills. That's 2 for him. Playing in the back, Skadoodle ends him with the snipe. 2 players left alive here for T1. This is the round. They need to keep this thing going if they want to have a chance. It is match point. Brax has been really nice with those mollies the entire time. Actually having to force out Def, but Def had no option to move around, so they get the kill. This has actually become a slightly manageable situation here, but it all depends on what Brax can do. They know Brax is located by Garden. He's making a lot of noise. They know that Ska is by Hookah. He's made a lot of noise as well. Brax is going to creep around this corner, and he gets killed by Sam, leaving only 1 player left alive, and Sam's double ends the game, and Homeless go up by 1 versus T1 here in the quarterfinals. I cannot believe it, Gaskin.
Yeah, I was wondering whether we were going to kind of get a replay earlier when TSM, they were down by a few rounds, but then they brought it back, and we saw like the dominant team pick it up when they played against Envy. But no, Homeless have shown up here. Not only did they get out of a group with TSM and 100 Thieves, beating 100 Thieves and giving TSM quite the run, to be honest. They've taken down T1 in the first map. I'm a little bit scared about map number 2, but who cares? They've actually been able to go 1-0 up here. They looked phenomenal on